Hey everyone, and welcome to another recording of Our Human Experience, the podcast where we probe individuals to share the stories that made them who they are today.
And try to find the connection that is our human experience. And we are recording today in beautiful Govinda at the Arts Nexus podcast studio. I'm Claire Tierney.
And I'm Anna Winter.
So where can they follow us, Anna?
They can follow us on social media at Our Human Experience on Instagram and Facebook.
ourhumanexperience.com.au. We invite you
to pod binge
Our Human Experience
anytime you like. Hello, Claire.
Hi, Anna.
How are you?
Yeah, good. You caught me off with the birds there. I was thinking I've had one of those weeks and I just couldn't remember when I was trying to think about what I did this week because I was like, Anna's going to ask me what I did this week. I can't even remember what I did this week. How crazy is that? I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night. I think I'm tired.
Yeah, and that can happen, especially this time of year. Everyone's gearing up and I think we've got a lot of change coming with borders opening and a bit of unknown. But
sorry, enough about me and what I can't remember. Tell us about what you can remember.
I suppose it's probably leading into our next guest. And the one thing that North Queensland has fortunately had happening with the fact that we haven't had as many lockdowns as other states is that we've been fortunate enough to be able to continue the majority of our sport as
just
well.
Living.
Oh,
moving,
absolutely.
Moving around freely and
And
so, you're right, the sport, part of
there's been, short periods of time where gyms have closed and so forth.
And the pool.
And exactly. That's why it sort of brings me into this conversation, because in that small time when we did go into a lockdown, I know that we both live in apartments and both our pools, I think you were allowed to do a little bit of swimming.
My peeps, the people in my complex were amazing. They did close the pool, but because I swim all the time and I have to swim all the time or my body seizes up, they just came down and knocked on the door and said, the pool's closed, but you're allowed to use it. So for the whole of lockdown that we were in, that period, I kept swimming and it was just vital. And I'm so thankful that they did that for me. Because it's really important to my physical well-being.
Absolutely. Well, that keeps you mobile and helps you stay mobile.
Yeah, definitely.
So I suppose that brings us to our next guest, who we have an incredible pool in Cairns, which is only up the road from you.
Yeah, it does. And I don't swim there as much because I have the pool.
And I'm always going to pronounce it incorrectly.
Tobruk
Pool.
And it's a beautiful complex and they've renovated it and it's got the wonderful surf wave rider, it's called. And I did go up there with my hydrotherapy coach and did work in the hydrotherapy pool, but with what I've got, so because I'm so affected by heat with multiple sclerosis, that the heat of the hydrotherapy pool actually was reversed for me. It wasn't great, so we ended up just going back to my pool in the complex. Which is cooler, and I've swum all year, even through winter. Now, I'm going to say to anybody who doesn't live in far North Queensland, winter is pretty mild. But I did swim all through winter when most of the people were like, oh, no, it's too cold for me.
Yeah, which the cold pools are really good for keeping you at the right body temperature.
Yeah, body temperature.
Can you sort of explain that about MS?
I wish I could, but what I can say is that it's different for everybody. But the minute the heat for me now, it wasn't always until menopause. Crazy menopause does all sorts of things to your body. But for me now, once the temperature goes above 26, everything shuts down. So
when you say shut down, what do you mean by that? I get wobbly, I get faint, I tighten up. So things don't work properly, so the limbs get a bit stiff and not sore, which I'm lucky because some people get awful pain with it. But no, for me it's just what I say, it doesn't work properly. So what could have taken 5 minutes could take half an hour to do
because everything's just so much slower. It's like suddenly someone's put, bags of sand on your body, and you're just walking around with that. And honestly, it would be like, you went through it yourself with a weight issue. When you drag around so much more weight,
50 extra
50
kilos.
extra kilos. So that's kind of what it feels like in a weird way.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, things don't work so well. So getting in and out, up and down, all of those things. And then I get in the pool or the ice bath, which I love doing as well, and everything works. And the joy comes back into my body.
So it's like freedom for you.
It's just amazing. And,
yeah.
No one can 100% explain it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are theories, but...
Yeah, and like you said, everyone's and with your MS, you're at a different stage to other people, but it's all connected. So, which is totally relevant for us having this conversation, because it's going to bring our next guest in, who
lovely man.
I don't really know. I think Scooter's going to introduce himself, really, because we're going to
he's quite the live wire.
So let's welcome.
When he was signing on before, so we all know him as Scooter, but his first name is actually Grant. And I'm going to mention that right now. Hey, look who we've got on the couch. It's Scooter. No, Chris. No. Apparently we can call him anything we like.
Apparently Chris is
the new word. Grant, Scooter.
Whatever.
I don't know. Whatever we want to call him.
A1 swimmer.
A1. A1. All right. So welcome to our couch today. Well, it's your couch. It's our podcast studio. And we wanted to talk to you today because you have such a huge plethora of life experience, but we do like to take our guests right back to the start and find out what it was like for you as a little guy, little kid, playing around, your family, your community, your siblings, your parents, anything you want to share with us. And
I'm still the same height.
I know you are, darling. I know I didn't want to make any jokes about that, but I'm glad we've broken that ice. No, just let us know what it was like for you in those early years.
Growing up, as far as what I can remember, it was pretty. If there's such a word called normal, it was fairly normal. I used to do everything else that all the other kids did. And I think that's what makes my parents so awesome and inspiring and amazing, because they gave me a foundation that a lot of other people out there haven't had a chance to receive. And I'm so grateful for my two parents. Without them, I wouldn't be the independent person I am today. But growing up, I went to parties. I used to cruise around on a little electric wheelchair as well as my bike, while they call me Scooter. I used to ride to Redlands Primary School back in the day. We lived in Redlands. And then growing up, in high school, I went to Smithfield High School. And it was pretty straightforward.
So you were born in Cairns?
Born and bred, thoroughbred.
Thoroughbred.
Racehorse.
Fast one.
Sometimes.
Like a soul sometimes. So for me, I always look back at my childhood and go, things I loved to do as a child before, let's say, the worry set in. I know a lot of our North Queensland people that we've interviewed have started off their beginnings with shoes on, and that seemed to be a common thread. Like, one of our guests, was talking about having to put clothes on. They got around their first 5 years in North Queensland pretty naked, and not saying that you did, I'm not sure, but it seems to be such North Queensland.
Well, I'm more close.
You get the pool pretty half there, but so tell me, Scooter, like, what for you growing up was, the thing that you did with your family? So you're at Red Lynch, so you've got, the backdrop, and people that don't, our listeners from all over the world, they don't know, where's Red Lynch and what do your surroundings look like? I mean, we know that it's a tropical rainforest at your back door. So tell us a little bit what you did as a kid.
So Red Lynch is, you'd say, west of Cairns a little bit, inland more. And it's pretty much on the edge of the mountain. So, you've got your tropical rainforest surrounding you, which is lovely. But there's a lot of things I did as a kid. I used to get on the quad bikes and go in the cane fields around Redlinks and Freshwater. I also did a lot of fishing as a kid. I love fishing. I remember when I turned 16, the first thing I did was go and get my boat license.
Yeah.
And then I saved up and bought myself a little 12-foot punt for a little 15 horsepower Johnson on the back. And I used to love fishing. The punt that I owned, because it's so old, the rivets in the bottom of the floor used to pop out, and then you'd be cruising up the river and you'd have water spraying you in the face to cool you down on a day.
And I'm sure that gave you a sense of freedom too. Like, you know, at 16, just to get away and do your own thing independently. From what you said, your mum and dad really push you to get out there and have a crack, and be you. And by the sounds of it, you say quad bike, you say boat. I'm thinking that all involved a little bit of speed.
I love speed.
I'm just saying, that's what it kind of. So
When we move ahead in the timeline, I've got something else to tell you, but we're not up to there yet.
Okay. We'll hold that. We'll hold you to that for sure.
So tell us, as a child, what were in your childhood dreams of you going, you know, tell us a little about you in primary school and how you were as a child.
In primary school, I know. I figured in pretty good. I had my scooter to cruise around on. I remember when I was a young fella, there was always talk about putting me higher in an electric wheelchair, so I'm at everyone else's face height. But as I grew up, my parents said, you know, if he's happy on the bike, leave him on the bike. You know, he's very independent on that, and he doesn't need anyone to help him because he can manoeuvre around himself.
Yep.
But yeah, the primary school's a long, long time ago. But yeah, I just love being outdoors. I loved all sports, AFL, cricket. I couldn't really do it competitively because I'm height disadvantaged. But that's where swimming came into play in 2000. 2000. I was 11 years old. That's when I actually first started swimming. But during primary school, everything was pretty much the same as everyone else. You know, go to school, do my classes. Sometimes I'd have a teacher aide assist me with certain things. But yeah, I was in the mainstream classes, which was good.
Were you one of the
No, I wasn't a naughty kid, but I wasn't a princess either. I was in the middle.
In the middle. You liked a bit of fun, and when it started, you were involved.
Yes.
Nice sort of.
I love speed.
Yeah, a lot of speed.
So you could scoot off when you chose.
Yeah, for sure. So,
I have a story for you.
Yeah, no, go on.
You know those, because I think towards the end of primary school, grade 6 and 7, I got one of those electric shop riders, you know, like the grandpa and grandma's ride around in. It's got 4 wheels, a seat, and handlebars.
Yep.
Well, I used to go up the top of Redlinks Heights, which is a hill, a street, or a suburb in Redlinks, and it was a massive hill for about maybe 200, 300 metres. And I used to go up the top, put the scooter in neutral, and I reckon I'd reach speeds of like 60 k's an hour. And it wasn't safe, but I love speed.
Can I ask, did you have a helmet on?
Safe.
I don't think I did, because there's the spur of the moment thing.
And we didn't really do safety like we do now. We don't back then. So no, I mean I didn't have a bike like that to go on, but I lived in a very hilly area, and we used to get 3 of us on our tricycle, our pedal tricycle, and get to the top of the hill and just go with 3 of us on, people flying off everywhere. We didn't care. We thought it was the best thing ever.
Isn't it funny that I've got a similar story, and it all involves hills and speed? I think it must be everyone, because I have a memory of sitting on a skateboard with my next door neighbour, and I had a pair of Bloodstone boots, so I was the brake. So we'd sit on this hill in Geelong, and we'd go flat out, and I had to put the brakes on with my boots, and I wore the whole back end of the boots out. Mum was like, "What's with your boots, Anna?" And I'm like, "I don't know.
They just don't make them like they used to."
So speed, I think, is a thing that children like Like,
all people. So interestingly enough, I want to go back to, you said you got in the pool around 11. I'm hoping that was on purpose. You didn't fall in and then realize you could swim, but or
Yeah, drowned. Oh, you
how
can
did
breathe.
that go? Who decided the pool would be a good idea for you, and how did
Well, my whole life I was meant to. No, my whole life I was recommended to go in a swimming pool because it was good for my body, my back, my joints. For me to keep moving,
yeah, yes,
like in some sort of sporting way, I'd be able to move around and have good range of motion. So it was always recommended to go swim, but I didn't like doing it when I was younger. I thought it was boring and I didn't want to do it. I wanted to play cricket or AFL, but when you're a short-lived creature, you can't do certain things, unfortunately.
yeah, no,
But I got in 2000, and I was over at White Rock at Taz.
yep,
That's actually south of Cairns.
yep,
The coach at the time, his name was Adam Luscombe. He was with me for 2 years, and then he left to Melbourne, had a nice job offer to run MSAC down in Melbourne. And when he left, I had a few shoulder issues, and I was getting tropical ear a lot. When you're a swimmer, if you don't look after your ears, you get infections a lot. So between my coach leaving and me having issues with my body, I threw in the towel for 5 years. And I put on a lot of weight, and I turned into a little monster that looked like Jabba the Hutt of Star Wars. So I wasn't very proud of that part of my life, other than going and getting my boat license and my car license during high school. But yeah, I think also my mum explained to me when my coach left, because I was different. I thought that no one else would be able to help me because Adam, well, when I was younger, 11 to 13, he put in 2 years of hard work, and we had a good relationship. But he left, and me being different, I was like, oh, where am I going to fit in now? Because Adam was very patient and understanding with me. But yeah, obviously, I didn't have the confidence I do now, because all I had to do was probably go try out a few different clubs, and I probably would have been able to swim with another club. But everything happens for a reason on this planet.
it does. It does. And by the sounds of things, sometimes when we go down a track that makes us feel physically uncomfortable in all our, no matter what form we're in or what shape we're in, but when we go into a direction where we feel physically super uncomfortable, where, like you said, you put on some weight. And I mean, I have that experience. I used to be really, really a big person and lost a lot of weight. Luckily enough, as a contestant on The Biggest Loser. So for me, with you saying that, I had to have something happen for me to go, I can't live like this. I'm so uncomfortable. For people that don't know you, can you explain to us how you are as Scooter? Can you explain your physical self?
Short, funny, smelly guy.
Suave. Did you say suave?
Suave. He said suave.
Yeah, I love that. Did you
He said
say
suave.
No, I said short, funny, smelly. I fart too much.
Oh, I thought you said suave. I was like, all right.
Well, you can say that. Put suave in there.
I think we're going to edit suave in. I think that's the better way.
All right.
Yeah. But your dwarfism is quite rare, the form you have. So.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I've got a rare form of dwarfism called dystrophic dysplasia, which is about a 1 in a million chance of it happening for someone walking along the street and obviously getting with another person. It's a bit like your brother and sister getting together with the same gene. So I always joke about with my parents when they had me, that was their chance of winning the lottery gone. They got me instead.
Oh, no, well, I'm sure they're very happy to have you.
No gold lotto for them. They just get a short, funny little midget.
Who is suave?
Who's super suave?
Wow.
So when you turned into, was it Jabba the Hutt? Did you sort of refer to yourself? Yeah. So tell us, like, what moment were you in that, when you're feeling like that you went, you know what, I've got to get back in the pool and I've got to find someone to help me get there. What happened there?
There was a few keys to me getting back in the pool. It was probably starting out when I was, 15, 16. I'd be at my mate's house, and one of my mates down the road, his dad would always go, "Geez, mate, you're a fat little bastard, aren't you?" Like, you're a full Australian ocker dad. And my mate would be like, "Dad, you can't say that." And I'm like, "Oh, that's all right. Who cares?" But, like, make jokes. And then I used to get sick of, at the dinner table, I'd be wanting more food at dinner. And my parents would say, "Grant, that's ample. You've had enough." And I hated that. And obviously, as I got towards the end of high school, I was 17, I realised that I was a bigger person. I couldn't do certain things. I had trouble climbing in the boat. I had trouble dressing myself. So I decided to hop back in the pool myself, 2007. And then obviously I ran into my old assistant coach, who's now my head coach, Andrew Herbie Howard. Everyone calls him Herbie. Um, and I ended up started getting back into competitive swimming September 2007. So I was already doing my own stuff twice, 3 times a week,
Yep.
from January to September. And obviously he saw me a few times, and at first I was like, "No way, that's too many sessions. I don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock." But obviously, somewhere later in that year, 2007, something clicked in my brain, and then I wanted to chase down that light at the end of the tunnel that I had when I was a little boy, 12, 13 years old, of one day representing my country. And then obviously the goal grew larger and bigger. I wanted an elusive Paralympic medal. So from that day, that's back in 2000. It's now 2021. That's over 21 years ago.
Wow.
So it just goes to show that you put your time and persistence in, anything can happen.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because that's a common thread too with people who are in the high end of sports. That all those mornings that you get up and train, all of those meals that you adapt to not having the deep fried something or whatever, and all of that effort you put into your physicality and your training culminates eventually for you to either reach your goal or get very close to your goal. But we all, as watchers of the television, celebrate wholeheartedly when you reach that goal. But none of us think about how it took you 21 years to get there or whatever. And it's always such an
That
epic
should be
journey
totally
behind the
part of the
scene.
celebration
Yeah,
because the hard
yeah.
work you've obviously put in to getting up, like you said,
Took
early
so many
mornings and missing out. Well, not really, because look what you've done. But were there times where you just were like, what kept you following that line?
Yeah.
When in 2007 or to get back in?
Just basically to keep following that line and the distance
Uh,
time.
I don't know, to be honest. I think I've got a crazy little, I always explain it to people, I've got this demon or mongrel, whatever, inside my head. That when I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, sore, or it's too cold outside and I just want to stay in bed, it literally just grabs me by the collar and says, "Mate, we have a job to do, let's go."
Oh, blessed
So,
man.
yeah, so while that thing is inside me, I'm going to keep going. And if only I could sell it.
Make money
Yeah,
out of it.
be a millionaire.
So it's just obviously something inside, and I'm a very goal orientated person now. I'm always wanting to reach new boundaries and do new things. Um, and I think, it's very great in the passion and dedication and all that stuff that I have, but sometimes it can be bad at the same time because you end up getting too focused in the moment. And if you're not good at what's the word? Not socialise. If you're not good at what's the word?
Or the balance of things.
Yes, balance. If you're not good with your balance, as in work, training, social life,
Yes.
well then you get caught up and you blow out early.
Yeah.
But I have a strict rule on the weekends. I have nothing to do with swimming. I go and get on the quad bikes, fishing boats,
Oh,
and go out and do stuff, nothing to do with swimming. I enjoy the weekend, and some ways it's sort of selfish in a way. Like there's a lot of carnivals on, swimming carnivals, and I don't go to them anymore, the local ones. And it's just because I train 9 times a week. I work full time at the moment, and I just need time to myself to sit here and do nothing, or go quad biking, or take my dogs for a run, or do something other than swimming.
Yeah.
That's really
Balance.
intelligent, very balanced, and I agree with you that most people, if you're going to achieve high goals, you need to find that balance. Whatever it is, yours is different to somebody else's, but you still need to find your own balance.
And something that you've just said, Scooter, that stands out with that, you have trained for an Olympics more than once. You've worked full time, and in a lot of other sports, they just train. They don't have to.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So for
So
me,
true.
it's like you've done double.
Mm.
So I'm sure you've got an opinion on that, and I'm sure that that should be acknowledged, because it's just like years ago, football players, they worked a job and then they went and played footy. Now they make all this money, and I shouldn't say everyone, but then they just have to concentrate on their A game. So, tell us a little bit about that, because I mean, you're working full time and you're training, and you want to represent the country in the Paralympics. But I mean, the difference between the two Olympics is you're all training, you're all getting up early, and I'm sure that you've trained alongside. Um, do we say able-bodied? I don't know the appropriate way. Is that what they say? I don't want to.
Yep, that's what they say.
Okay.
Less
Yep.
challenge.
Less challenge. Yeah, yeah. Ones that don't work as much. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, that might be a thing again. They might cry.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, no. But tell us a little bit about that side of things, because you have, you obviously now you get yourself to training, and then you've got a real routine. So routine for you must be massive to be able to do that kind of training through the week. Right.
We've lost you.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
See you
Sorry, I was.
live.
Sorry, I was just switching to my Wi-Fi. My phone was burning out.
Oh, right. Okay, so you ditched us for a little while.
That's
Okay.
okay.
No, you're talking about full-time work and managing the full-time training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good question. As much as it's challenging and hard, so the reason why I've been working full-time is I have a lavish, well, not lavish lifestyle, but like I like to buy toys, I like to have fun, and right now I'm in my own house. There's only a couple of athletes on the team that have their own house.
Hmm.
Well, that's mainly back to my parents, them installing the right foundation when I was younger, you know, respect the elders, be nice to people, treat others how you want, and, if you want to move up in life, you need to save, you know, look at getting yourself a place, maybe rent at the start, and then obviously, buy your own place so you're not paying someone else's mortgage off.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
And that's sort of what I was installed as a young kid. So I'm very thankful for them again. They're awesome parents. Um, so I've always had that sort of background in myself to go out and job and buy a house, because with swimming, once you make a team, you do get certain grants depending on what ranking you are in the world, but that does not qualify as an income to a bank. As much as it looks great in your bank account and on paper, they don't count it. So theoretically, all it's good for is having that bank deposit at the start. So I really strive to not only be successful in the swimming world, but also in the real world too, because when I'm 50 or 60, I'm probably not going to be, a person with my disability, with lack of cartilage in joints, curved spine, yada yada yada. I'm not going to be able to probably move as good as say used to are. So I need to do all my hard work as early as possible, so I'm able to sit back and enjoy life later on, just like everyone else wants to do
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But managing it with full-time training, yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially when I've done a full 8 hours a day, and it might be a stressful day, and I'll go to training at 5:30 till 6:30, and I'm just bugging. I'm tired. I'm sore from gym the previous day, and I'm like, why are you doing this? But that little thing inside my head just says, just keep going, just keep going.
Cool.
But I'm so grateful for having that attitude and mentality, gifted from my parents, and obviously I've improved on it as I've gotten older. But like, I don't know if you know, but 2016, I missed out on the Paralympics, and that was a big turning point in my life on, do I want to keep swimming and put up with all the difficulties of Paralympic swimming? Because Paralympics in general is not like the Olympics. You've got multiple different classifications, and no matter how hard you try, you'll never have the same people in the event all the same. They're all different. So that's life. You have to accept that, and that's something I learnt in 2016. I was angry with Swimming Australia. I was angry with the classification system, and that's what my parents helped me with. They said, look, you can sit there and go on 60 Minutes or do whatever you're thinking, and shout out the top of the mountain. Someone might hear you for a couple of days or a week, but all they're going to see is that little guy whinging. And I said, you can either do that, or you can go back to work, focus on yourself, knowing that the classification system, whatever, is not going to change. You know, who knows what will happen in the future, though, because people move, people stop. But you can still focus on yourself and get better yourself, and hope that something happens later on in the future. And I'm so thankful that I did listen to them,
Yeah.
because long time. What's that saying? No pain, no gain. But a small amount of pain, it lasts forever. Pain lasts for a short time, but success lasts forever. And what I did in Tokyo, everyone knows me for achieving the 2 Paralympic medals that took me 30 years. They don't know me. Oh, that's that crazy little midget that whinged about the classification system. So,
Yeah, no, fair
big,
enough.
big thanks to my parents.
So I just need to tap in there, Scooter, because you've gone on to an area that I'm not an elite athlete, but
Yeah.
I am in the pool as much as I can, and I would like to call it every day, but I do train something Monday to Friday, and I do give myself the weekend off, because I have a degenerative, slowly progressive illness called multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
And if I don't move, I am not comparing myself to you at all. By no
You
means,
seize up.
but
Yeah.
you seize up, nothing works as well. And so stagnation is really pronounced for people like you and I and others. But I think it's something that we notice, and it's almost, I don't want to call it a gift that we notice it at this point, but a lot of people don't get their bums off the couch until they're 70 or something, and then they can't because they've
And then
got.
it's too late.
So
Yeah.
talk to me about who are the people? Was it a professional? Was it medical? Was it your personal trainer? Who actually encouraged you to keep moving, just keep moving? I mean, where
No,
did
no,
you get that
no,
guidance?
no professionals. It was just my parents encouraged. Well, they steered the ship back into the direction where I was focusing on myself
Yep.
and not the negativity. It wasn't so much keep going swimming. It's more like, hang on, your attention is too focused on this crap, negative poison.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anywhere in life if you focus on that. Something I learned in 2012 was trying to control the uncontrollable. As soon as I learned about that, that's what helped me move on from 2012.
Yeah.
And obviously, when Rio came around, that still helped me move on better. It's just with the Rio situation, I gained a lot more resilience, because at the time I wanted to go on a team. I should have been there, but the case was I didn't make it according to the papers on the team selection criteria, um, and I was missing out. At that point in time, I was outside of my house here, and I was sitting there going, I really deserve to be on this team. I really want to go. And then there was another part of me, the part that is a lot greater and larger now, that helps me do everything I do. He said, think about if you stay in your sport, keep swimming, and think about if you end up making Tokyo, and perhaps if you are able to win a medal, think about the story. You know, you went to London, missed out on the medal, Rio, you missed out on the team, and you didn't want to accept that, and so you kept swimming to Tokyo. And if you won a medal, think about the story you'd be able to tell. And at that point in time, I was like, no, I just want to go on the team. I want to go on the team. But the small part said, hey, the story will be pretty cool.
Yes.
And look what happened.
Happen.
Yeah.
It is that classic it's not rags to riches, but it's, being when you cut down and you get back up again, the story is so much richer.
Well, you
And I
dusted
think,
yourself off.
sorry, you go.
No.
I was just saying, you dusted yourself off and you just went, you know what? I'm going to keep going. And you did.
I use that negativity for fuel to help with create myself better in the water and mentally as a person.
Right.
And focus and successful people in sport sometimes you say selfish, and we are, because we have to dedicate a lot of time to training, gym,
Yep.
our food, and we have to pick who we go and visit on the weekends. Like, I can't just go out both nights and go party and get drunk. I can't do that, because then Monday morning I'll be no good. So I can pick and choose, and sometimes it's harsh, but you can't please everyone in life. But no, I like to think I do a good job, and I try to please as many people as possible.
You sound like a bit of a giver. I'm hearing that you like to give time to other people. So within hearing everything you've just said then about, people call it selfish. Sometimes I don't actually call it selfish, but to do what you've done and achieved in the pool and your life. Dong dong.
Hang on, I'm plugging my laptop in.
I just lost Scooter.
You're so
He's off.
popular.
Bloody Nora, hang on.
That's all right. We're
I'm
being
here. I'm
nice
still here.
shirt. Represent.
Represent. Good.
We get to see you.
Well, I thought I'd put it on for the occasion.
Thank you very
thank
much.
you for sharing. Have you got your medal on you?
It's in the room. I'll get it after.
Oh, yeah. That could be our outtake. We'll have the medal.
Yeah. Is it nearby?
He's back.
Right. Okay. You're all sorted. It's all good. This is part of the live action.
It is. It's fabulous.
We're just keeping this. This is all good.
This is all part of the story. So, Scooter, when it comes to that amazing energy and drive that you have, are there any parts of your life where you feel like you've become a bit of a mentor to other people? How do you feel that game is playing out for you? Because let's face it, the whole of Australia was behind you when you won your bronze, and we've watched this great rise from a regular fella who just got in the pool every day and kept plugging away, but your story is so motivational. So how does that work for you?
I was actually talking to my coach Herbie about this a few weeks ago, and I said, everything that's happened has definitely happened for a reason, and why everyone likes my story so much is just a down-to-earth person. I've been through the trenches, and I'm still, like, a lot of people come up to me at work and say, oh, you're still living up on cloud nine or whatever. I said, no, mate, I'm still the same person as when I left. And I think, big thanks to my parents again. They're the ones that kept my feet grounded.
Can I ask a question? What's your mum and dad's name?
Sally and Steve.
Well, shout out to Sally and Steve.
Sally.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Hey, I'm just rearranging.
I see your wheels, man.
See my wheels? That's my inside wheels.
Are they sorry. Shelley.
Sally.
Yeah, Shelly and Steve. Well, shout out to them because they did a magnificent job. So
they sure did.
The whole part about you being a bit more of a mentor for others.
Yeah, so back to that part. I was talking to Herbie. I said, the reason why everyone likes the story so much is the journey I've had, and the challenges I've had to overcome. Um, and I'm just honest, humble, friendly midget. I don't go out and boast anything, but I like to help other people when I can. Um, and my job, well, not my job, but my goal while I'm still doing what I'm doing, and hopefully by the time I finish my sporting career, is to hopefully inspire and motivate everyone around the world to let them know that they can go out and achieve whatever they're focusing on as well. And it's up to them to set their goals high in the sky as they possibly can, to let them know that it's up to them how far they're willing to climb to reach them.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
do like to have that. So I don't like to tell everyone, obviously, but I like to help people and help them out, just like my parents helped me out.
Yeah, because not everyone has that support, Scooter. Like you
No.
just said, you had epic parents that just said, you know what, mate, just get out and have a crack. Get out.
Yeah, even when I used to do some stuff, they'd be like, "You got arms and legs, you can do it."
good on
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Good on him.
yeah. So, I mean, with the training that you've done, also you've mentioned, your diet and your discipline and getting enough sleep. Can you talk us through a little bit of, your tool bag of what a day looks like with food for you? Because I'm really interested to know that.
So normally I go wake up at like 4:40 a.m., go training, 5:30 to 7:30, and then if I'm at the pool, I'll have cereal because it's quick and easy.
Hmm.
Um, and lunches at work, I normally make something during the week or on the weekend, something to do with pasta, meat, and vegetables.
Hmm.
And because I eat a lot, I just cook up something that feeds five, and then put it in containers and freeze it for the week. And I'm a tight ass. That's why I do that.
Hmm.
And then dinner time, I'll have the same sort of thing at night if I'm training the next morning. But if I'm not training the next morning, like a Monday night, I have Tuesday morning off, so I'll have steak and vegetables.
Hmm. Hmm. So you do a bit
So
of food prep by the sounds of it. So you're super
yes,
organized.
yes,
Yeah. And I mean, that's the
I can cook.
I mean, that's the key with anything really in regards to, I always think, for weight loss or sporting goals and getting yourself on a track that you need to go on and keeping routine is, you can train and train and train, but you can't train a bad diet, So if you're organized and you put your food first, because I with the amount of training
Yes,
you're doing, if you didn't have your food sorted, I'm thinking you
I'd
wouldn't
die.
eat you. You
Yeah.
said you were hungry a long time ago. You like food, so that's a good thing.
And like you don't. It's like putting dirty fuel into a Ferrari. It's not going to work. It's going to splitter and splatter. When you put good fuel into the race car, you're going to have good results.
Mm.
But diet, sleep, it's all a very important thing to being successful in your sporting career or even your everyday work.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, you do your best work when you've had good rest too, hey? Yeah, yeah. So for me, looking at your successes in the pool, I'm hearing there's a few other passions going on in the background. One involves fishing. So talk
Yep,
us through people that don't know North Queensland. I mean, you've had a tinny, have had a boat for a long time. Tell us a story on your fishing.
I've got two boats. Trying to
Oh,
show a little.
finally.
I got a little creek boat to go up the creek, and
Yeah.
then I got a larger boat to go out to the reef.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
We're frozen.
Frozen in time.
Hey, Scooter, you're
Frozen
frozen.
in time. Well, we'll freeze too.
Yeah,
Nope.
again, again. We've gone flat, maybe. We might have to sign in, sign out. Again. Here we go. Oh, we're back in. Right, well, we're going to get a
Excuse
fishing
me.
story. And I've got to mention Crocs.
I want to know the one that got away. Was it bigger than him?
Wow, the fish out here. It's got a reef boat, man.
I know.
How epic is
I
that?
didn't expect that. I was just
No.
thinking up the river, but
No.
not the
Oh,
river.
hey, are we back? Oh, you signed in, signed out.
Sorry. I plugged my computer in, but I forgot to turn the switch when I first plugged it in.
It's all right, we've all done that.
We've all done that.
And we're just saying it was all on the very beginning of a fishing story. And we cut, and we're like, how big was that fish?
It was.
So tell us about these two boats, not just one. We've got two, right?
Yeah, so little one is set up to go in the creek, and also put some four drive ties on it. So when I didn't make Rio, I actually went up bush for a week in 2017, I think, after I didn't make Rio. And I was like, oh, stuff this, I'm going to have a week off and go and do something fun. Because during a swimming year, I very rarely have time to go do stuff like that because I'm so focused on blah, 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 blah. So that was good. And then I got my larger boat, and I go out to the reef in that and go reef fishing, and I love spear fishing. I love free diving.
Wow.
Yeah, I always pull a joke at training, and I'll do breath holds. And my coach Herbie, he hates when I do that because it looks like I'm dead. I said, mate, I'm going for a PB. But he hates it.
How long can you hold your breath for?
My PB is 4 minutes and 1 second.
Woohoo!
Pardon?
4 minutes.
4 minutes and 1 second.
Yeah,
Oh my!
that's amazing.
Oh my!
I think
That's okay. Like I think a world record's like 8 or 10 minutes or something.
No, you're a fish, mate.
I've only managed like I think it was just under 3.
I was going to say we were doing that in the pool the other day, and I just did 1 minute. And
it takes time to get
Wow.
there.
It does.
Did you practice? Can I just ask? You must have been practicing that heaps.
Yeah, because being a swimmer, you have large lungs, but to do good breath holds, you have to like use your diaphragm in your stomach, and then learn how to use 100% of your lungs and stomach. Where right now, you should only be using the top 10 or 20% of your lungs. Yeah. Okay. And that's what all humans do walking around. But when you train to do something like that, we actually, just like, in our normal day-to-day life, we only use like 5 to 10% of our brain. But it's really amazing when you actually think about it and go learn something new. You're like, oh, I can actually do this. And both of you would be able to do that. You just have to train and practice.
I've done
I'm going to do that in dedication to you. I'm going to try that.
I've done a Wim Hof.
Oh, yeah?
And so there's a lot of teaching you how to breathe properly and that semi-hyperventilating, getting your blood full of oxygen before you hold your breath and what have you. And then, and that's in preparation for doing ice baths.
Yep.
Which I do, 10 minutes of ice bath every second day or whatever. And that ability to calm the mind and calm the heart rate is really, it's very practical for me, but it's a skill and you do have to practice it for sure.
So can you tell us about the fish that you've caught deep sea fishing? Like I want to know about the catch. And I'm thinking there's a catch that you live with, and that's your wife. So that's your big catch, I'm thinking.
Oh, we've gone there.
My wife?
You
I have a wife. Oh, that's the massive thing out the back. I don't have a wife. I'm single.
I thought you said wife before. I'm like, she's got to be your best catch. All right, she's yet to come. She's on the way.
She's on the way. You've got to cast that line.
I'm still flicking.
All right.
So to jump ship on that one, pardon the pun, let's talk about that fish. So, what was the largest fish? Is there the one that got away, that amazing fight?
I was down in Innisfail, and I was in one of my boats before I had now, and it was a Spanish mackerel, and it probably would have been about $1.60 m. But when I pulled it in, all I got was the head. So I didn't jump it off. And the reason how we guessed the length is my mate caught another one half an hour later and had the same head. But all I got was the head, and he got the whole thing, and it was a monster.
Oh my wow! And was that so? preference wise, like, do you love the river, like for Barra? Are you getting Barra in the river? Are you like, and then you're going for the coral trout and the mackerel and on the reef? What's your preference?
Well, I'm one of those fishermen that you call a self fisherman. I, I got no clue what I'm doing. I just go out and let a line at a time.
Yeah.
But funny story, my first barra that I've ever caught was when I went up north to Lakefield. And it was only a tiny little 40 centimetre barra. But I've been fishing my whole life.
Mhm.
And it took me until I was like 27 to catch a barra on a lure.
Really?
I've had more luck at the reef.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I know you're probably not going to give us your secret holes out on the reef, but where do you take off from in the Cairns area? Do you like go off from Yorkies, or because it's like, where do you head? Have you got your favorite spots you go to, or?
Yeah, I don't normally catch that many fish. I don't really have many spots. But if I'm going to Sudbury Reef, I leave from the inlet, which is in Cairns, Trinity Inlet.
Yep.
Where if I'm going out to Pixie Reef, I'll go from Yorkeys Knob.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We're so
Or a
lucky.
couple of times, yeah, I'm very lucky. But a couple of times I've gone up to Port Douglas to go out to Bat Reef,
Oh yeah.
and that's pretty up there.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Have you ever seen a croc out there where you're fishing?
No, just sharks.
Okay. Oh, just
So do you think it was the shark that got the mackerel?
I think so because there was a couple crews around when my mate pulled his in.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, we have to be careful.
I'm thinking now the next topic of conversation is another item that goes fast. And I'm thinking there's the boat, and there sounded like there was something else there. Is there another fast?
Which one did you want to talk about? Well, there's a quad bike.
The sports car, the no?
Was it the quad bike?
So, well, that's another. I got two of them in the shed. I like to ride. But the latest and greatest thing that I'm into now is I want to be the next midget F1 racer. So I'm into go karting.
Really?
Awesome. Do you
Yes.
go karting up at Mariba on the big track up there?
Yep, I'm going up. I'm going up tomorrow. I can't wait.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
I love that. I remember waiting, or we were desperate to get our son out on the go-karts when he was quite young, and he had to wait till he was 4.
Yeah. Hey.
Sorry, you love.
We're frozen again, and we've lost power.
Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm here. I'm here. I can't stop thinking. I keep fidgeting too much.
Are you under I'm here, I'm under the computer, I'm stuck under the computer.
Yeah. Can you see me? I'm here. I'm here. I'm back.
Okay.
Well, you are frozen on our screen,
You're
but
frozen on our
we can
screen.
hear you.
We'll try it again.
Let's
Can
see.
you hear me loud and clear?
We
can
can
hear you loud
indeed, my
and clear.
darling. We can.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
You might have turned off your video.
The video may
when
have clicked off.
Let me have a look.
All right.
Good idea.
System select camera. Come on, camera. Shut the. I'm on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying that we had to wait till our son was 4 before he could get in the go-karts because he had to be able to reach the pedals. So were there any restrictions placed on you? Have you had a purpose-built go-kart or what?
Yes, I have. But before I did build my own go-kart, I used to go up to Mariba and go on hire karts.
Yep.
And how I learned to drive was this special boot on my right foot. And it has like a 9-inch extension. And so up at Mariba, I was driving with that. So I could accelerate, but no brakes. And
And for a speedster like yourself, that probably wasn't
yeah,
a bad thing.
you don't need brakes. You know what? It's not the speeding that kills, it's the sudden stop. So just don't stop on your right. But
I love that.
anyway, so we're up there at Christmas time. And I wanted to move up into the next cart to race my brother because we're both competitive. And I told her, well, we organised it the week before we went up the second time, and the lady up there, she was happy with it. Anyway, we went up the week later, and she's like, no, insurance reasons, I'm not going to let you do it. I said, what do you mean? We organised it. And so from that day on, I said, stuff it. I'll go buy my own. And I did it. So,
Good man. And do
but,
you have to take that up and down with you, or do they store it up there at Marine?
no, I have to take it up there. So
And so
it's a fair bit of work involved, and a bit of money as well. But I go to work, 40 hours a week. I train my butt off. This is something where my smile goes from here to here. I'm like,
you'll have to share some photos with us for the website. We can put them up of you having.
Well, I'm going to go out there and put some stickers on it this afternoon after this, and I'll have to send you a photo.
We would love that.
Thank you.
We would love that.
Thank
so,
you.
tell me. I mean, I know, like you said, you're slightly competitive.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. We're picking up on what you're putting down there. So tell me, do you plan to race competitively and go?
I'm racing next year, February. That's why I'm getting ready now.
Whereabouts?
Well, it'll be in Edmonton, and just do that once a month. And because it's going to be hard managing work, training, and then I got the managers now, so their main goal is to get me out there so I don't have to go to work. Hopefully get some more speaking gigs, endorsements, maybe a TV show. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wish you good fortune on that, because that would really make a difference to your world, and it would make a difference to what you can achieve, not having to go to work, 40 hours?
Well, it'd be nice. I've worked full-time for the last 7 years now, and not saying I deserve to retire, but it'd be nice to do what a lot of the other, high-end athletes do, survive, live on their sponsorship deals and all that stuff, and focus more on training, which would be great.
Absolutely. And I mean, your story does inspire and has inspired and will continue to inspire many people, because people sit in able bodies and think their life is so terrible and can give every excuse under the planet why not to do something, when I have a feeling if they were in your presence, you'd just say, oh, fair income, just go and have a go. Have a crack at it. And I
give them, sorry, you go.
No. Am I right in saying that?
No, you are. But what I normally do is I give them about 3 to 5 minutes of my time, and if they're not wanting to make a difference, well, I let them go and do whatever they want to do and not being successful. But I'm always open to help people. But if they don't want to help themselves, well, you can't help them.
You can't, can you? That's true, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us,
entertaining us,
and konnichiwa.
Yeah, konnichiwa. And can you tell us, have you got anything coming up? We have, we're going to put all your details up on our website with the launch of your podcast. Is there a platform? Yeah. So is there a platform that, are you on social media? Can we spruik your Instagram or Facebook page?
Instagram and Facebook. It's just Grant Scooter Patterson. And Facebook, it's the Scooter page. I think it's, facebook.com/Team Scooter.
Okay.
Yeah. So, put it up, tag me in it or whatever, and then I can share your thing and show everyone else. I told a few people today that I was doing this, and they were like, oh, how can we listen? So I'll find out.
Yeah. No,
we
fair.
will.
Fair.
It's going to be launched a little later in the year.
Very soon.
So, and I do have to ask the question. When is your book coming out?
Oh, my book. Oh, yes. It's a very short book.
I don't think so.
Oh, that was a pun.
Yeah. Because
Are you ready? Are you ready for the title?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's not fully PG, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's going to be, the front page is going to have me standing there. It's going to have two able bods standing beside me, but the book cover will be cut off at my head height, so I only show their waists, and
Okay.
it's going to have life at cock height. And I'm hoping the front cover will sell. And then I'll write a small short story and have a couple of photos in there.
Oh, fantastic. A collection of short stories. It's fabulous.
Yes.
Good work, Scooter. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we love.
Thank you for bringing such joy, not only to this podcast, but to the community of Cairns, where you've done so much for our reputation, little Mr.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We've just been slid a little note from our producer who says,
Yes, look, I'm
Oh,
just wondering,
yes.
can we run the auditions for the sidetrack cheerleaders for your go-kart?
First race at Edmonton.
First race, you got to have
cheerleaders.
Yeah, what are the ones with the flags? You know?
Yeah, I love cheerleaders.
awesome.
Actually,
wow.
they're on at Bullamajar this weekend. I think you can go and maybe just
I
scout
think
for some.
Melissa
Scooter.
looks like she's on the scouting for some.
I think our producer's wanting to
some-
get involved in this first race.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Well, maybe she should bring up a Cairns typeheads, get that cheer squad to come out and she can join it.
Well,
fair enough. Well, you deserve one. You deserve.
Absolutely. We might have to hashtag Instagram that.
Yeah, woohoo!
Nice sideline entertainment.
Well, Scooter, I think Anna said if there was anything coming up, and you've talked about that. So, our final shout out to your parents, Shelley and Adam.
Steve.
Steve, oh God, I got so close, so close.
Take it now.
And thank you, darling. Thank you so
Shelley
much.
and Steve.
And the magnificent work they did to make you the fine man that you are. And shout out to you for getting back up when you were down and going hard, trying again and achieving some of your goals. It's amazing.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very
Our
welcome.
pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
He has got.
guy.
I think he has got a wicked sense of humour.
So funny.
I'm sure that his coach, Herbie, and Scooter, and I've seen them in action together, and I've read some stories, would have many laughs by that pool.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of laughs with Scooter just then, and I just love the fact that he kind of even and I know I have to do it myself. Sometimes you fall over or you drop something, and because my hands don't work so well, you drop things, and you've just got to take that lighter side of the whole journey, and he does it really well.
So I have to say, when he dropped the computer a couple times, you and I have had many laughs over, hold on, I've just dropped something, I've thrown the phone, hold on.
Hang on.
And you've had some kind of moment.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, again, we're going back to everyone's health journey and how we can relate and how...
What you live with, Anna, for someone like Scooter, what you live with daily is just normal to him in a sense. I mean, it's hard to say that, but that is what he knows, and that is his normal. And so when something doesn't go right, I know I had to go through this as I progress, that you just have to find some light, some joy.
You're super funny, Claire, in situations.
I'm super
just
funny.
like Scooter. And then when I have been your friend, but also your carer at times.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For me, sometimes I forget that, that I'm like, oh, that's right. Well, I'm going to have to help her out of the car because it's too high. And how many times have we been in the street and I'm like,
come on, Claire,
I've literally got your bum in my face and me lifting you into the ute.
Dear.
And it's kind of like, I loved when Scooter just dropped the computer and then we got this visual of his face and we all laughed. And I think that...
And we got to see his Australia shirt, which we hadn't seen till that point. See? So
I know.
Maybe it was a marketing ploy.
He's pretty proud of representing his country.
As he should be, man.
Yeah.
People that, and able-bodied or not, people that get up every morning or train
Discipline.
9 times a week and just stick it out and
Absolutely.
manage all of that around his business and his work, I should say, and that he has to work because he doesn't have sponsorship. So,
well, I definitely want to
extra,
shout out to anyone that's
extra,
listening that
yeah.
wants to get in and sponsor someone like Scooter. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the time to,
Yeah.
you know, we're going to have all these details up on our website. So, you know, life can change in many ways when people get support, especially
Absolutely.
athletes in that
Absolutely.
way. So I hope that changes for him.
Yeah, I do too.
Because he is really inspiring.
Yeah.
And
he's a joy to be around. So if you sponsored him, you'd have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So we will pop all Scooter's details up on our website.
And get up to the track up at Mariba. It should be a new career you'll be seeing soon.
Yeah, well, Edmonton. So it's not, that's his first race.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I'm thinking that it needs to be a cheer squad for Scooter.
Yeah, we're going to find them. Apparently our producer Melissa's going to get out there and find some cheerleaders for him. He was pretty happy with that, Melissa. Thumbs up from Melissa.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Our Human Experience. You can follow us on social media on Instagram and Facebook.
ourhumanexperience.com.au.
Listen to Our Human Experience, where you can pod binge anytime you like. See you next time.
Bye.
If you have found this episode to cause you some distress, please reach out to a friend or call Lifeline anytime on 131114. 131114. Take care.